said previously that the turbo is really the indomitable Porsche 911. It really is that good at doing just about everything, and it led to Frank-Stefan Volliser, head of the 911 production line these days, admitting that development of the turbo is possibly his team's most complicated task. So just how do you go about making the best even better? It'd be prudent to start the video, wouldn't it, by saying that in cabriolet form, the Turbo S takes its roof system directly from the 992 Cabriolet and obviously Carrera S Cabriolet as well. With the Turbo S, you get absolutely everything, all the bells and whistles, but in 992 form, things are tweaked, particularly over 991. For example, Porsche Active Aerodynamics is now split into 3 key stages on the 992: Eco, Sport and Performance. There are also 3 separate systems which helps the Turbo S achieve its different settings. The flaps in the front grille are one such example, okay? They close at 50 kilometers an hour and open again linearly past 150 kilometers an hour. Also at the front, you've got the active front lip. On the 991, it was a one-piece rubber item. Now it's split into 3 pieces. The side segments can be operated separately to that central segment. Staying with Porsche Active Aerodynamics, this rear wing is 440 grams lighter. That's despite the fact that its surface area has increased by 8%. Not only is it height adjustable, but also angle adjustable as well. Again, trying to balance that juxtaposition in elements between efficiency and airflow, but also creating downforce. Elsewhere on the Turbo S, centre-lock wheels, standard. Ceramic brakes, standard. However, on this 992 generation, they are humongous. 10 piston calipers on the front, up from 8 on the 991. Discs are 420 millimeters in diameter. That's 10 mil up from the 991. At the back, they're 390 millimeters. The reason for that is the flat 6 here is now producing 650 PS. Not since the 996 to 997 turbo evolution has the 911 turbo increased in horsepower by so much. It really is quite a phenomenal jump. That's why you need the brakes. The 992 Turbo S is capable of 800 Newton meters maximum torque output. That, again, for context, is more than the 991 GT2 RS. The Turbo S, again, is 4-wheel drive. It has the active PTM, this time capable of transferring up to 500 Newton meters of torque to the front axle. It's a new engine for the Turbo S, sharing for the first time the same flat 6 as the Carrera models. There are changes, of course, chiefly being turbochargers. They're different to the Carrera, and over the 991 Gen 2 Turbo S, they're bigger as well. Piezo injection helps with efficiency. There's also a change in layout as well. The intercoolers that used to sit here on the 911 Turbo are now mounted on top of the flat 6. Again, it's the first time that's happened since the 993 Turbo. What are these for then? Well, again, whereas it used to provide clean air into the intercoolers, now it's mimicking the setup from the 991 GT3 RS. That was naturally aspirated, of course. This air simply feeds straight into the air filter. The 992 Turbo S is also the largest road-going 911 ever in terms of footprint and proportions. So how does it fare on a UK drive? The turbo's job really is to deliver the ultimate whack in the guts when you put your right foot down. Yes, it has more torque than the 991 GT2 RS, but the way it's delivered is definitely more sophisticated. That maximum torque is delivered between about 2.5 to 4,000 RPM. That torque band isn't as wide as the 991 Gen 2, but doesn't actually need the overboost function. Kick down, the cogs drop. Its accelerative capabilities are matched only by its braking, the Turbo S boasting the full accoutrement of tech and options available to the 911 range. And that's how it should be. It's £165,000 out of the box for the Cabriolet, 10 grand less for the Coupe. And with options, this ticks in at £178,000. It's a hell of a lot of money. So how has Porsche improved this car then? How has it made the best better? Well, without a doubt, it retains its brief on being the ultimate 911 all-rounder. I think the excellence of this modern day turbo is the fact that Porsche is now bringing efficiency and sophistication that's really going to future-proof and therefore save the model going forwards. There are some firsts to this car as well, chief among which is that button. At last, the Porsche 911 Turbo has a sports exhaust. It's long been a primary criticism of the 911 Turbo, isn't it? That the car is just too quiet out the box. In sport mode with sport exhaust on, Turbo S doesn't sound too unlike the 991 GT2 RS before it. It does beg the question, doesn't it? Why, oh why, oh why does the sports exhaust in the 992 Carrera and Carrera S and 4 and 4S not do the same? Come on, Porsche, let's have that sound in the Carrera range, please. Because it's lovely. This, therefore, is the best sounding 911 Turbo of the entire water-cooled generation. The other first, a sport chassis, is available on the Turbo. It is quite bumpy. Not as polished, I would say, as the Carrera lineup from the 992 generation. It's a little bit more lumpy. Maybe the Turbo's mass is just too great, even for the polished setup of the 992 era, though big wins are found in the 992's trademark wider front track. The nose feels so planted and corners so flat compared to 911s of old. A car that weighs the best part of 1700 kilos should not be able to sprint to 62 mile an hour in 2.7 seconds. It's ludicrous to think that this car, with the roof down, can propel you on to more than 200 mile an hour in comfort and in a cockpit environment that's just screaming with superior build quality and, well, opulence, really. I'd say Porsche has done a pretty good job. There are a couple of gripes. The first for me is the steering. And whilst the feel of it is much improved over the 991 generation, particularly the 991 Turbo and Turbo S, I just felt the steering felt very dead, to be honest with you. In the 992 there is an improvement. It's happened across the range. In the Carreras it feels, that front axle feels a little bit more GT3 like. In the new Turbo S there's definitely an improvement in feel, but it's not quite as fluid, to my mind, as the system in the Carrera S and 4S. The other thing is that, yes, that 3.8 litre flat six makes light work of shooting this car up the roads. I do feel that dynamically its mass is a little bit of a problem on this car. You do really feel it. It's just massive. And it brings me on to my third point of note. It's its size. It feels so big now, and I feel it not so much on the back of the car but more at the front, where that front track width has been widened by 45 millimeters. As I say, placing it on bumpy, narrow country lanes is difficult. Granted, these observations aren't unique to the latest Turbo S, which takes its place at the top of the 911 tree and retains its crown as the ultimate do-it-all supercar.